Abel's story was outstanding, and I'm sure relates to a lot of folks that serve, but also for those that never served. It's interesting to say that we don't know what we're going to do when we're starting out young in life, yet we can make a career and a family out of it. Our other guest here today is Gunnery Sergeant retired Dirk Lenz. Dirk also has been around the block a few times, and we'd love to be able to hear from him. Dirk?
Well, first of all, I want to appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talking to everybody. Just kind of caveat and kind of go around, along the same flow as what Abel was saying. Some reasons I joined the Marine Corps. A long time ago, in a galaxy far away. I'm a little bit older, been around the block, like Kevin, you said. Back in 1986, I joined the Marine Corps, but before joining the Marine Corps, I actually went to a military school for 2 years. I was kind of sent there, wasn't exactly that poster child that you would expect a 14 or 15-year-old. But I actually went to a military school, and it was an Army military school. Did that for 2 years, kind of worked the ins and outs of the school, knew exactly what to do and what not to do as far as getting into trouble or out of trouble. But I noticed every year as the seniors graduated, some of these guys would come back in their Alpha uniforms. So that was my first introduction to the Marine Corps. I'd heard about the Marine Corps, but it was always a myth. You know, what is the Marine Corps? What's it really about? But it's usually always something that is approachable only by a certain amount of people. So these guys would come back, and I would always talk to them, and the seniors that graduated, I would say 60% of them actually joined the Marine Corps for whatever reason back in 84, 83. And I would talk to these guys and ask them, so what's the Marine Corps all about? So they started telling me about the Marine Corps and all the ins and outs as far as boot camp and how tough it was and how not it was. So for me, I always loved the challenge. So I said to myself right then and there, hopefully I graduate military school, I'm going to join the Marine Corps, and I want to be one of those guys that actually comes back to the school and wear my uniform proud and accept the challenge. So I joined the Marine Corps in 85, but didn't go to boot camp until 86. Parris Island, we make fun of each other. We have San Diego Marines, we have Parris Island Marines. One always says the other one's better, but it is what it is, it's boot camp. So I went to boot camp, I enjoyed it. The structure, I had already had some kind of structure in my life as far as the boot camp, so for me boot camp was pretty much a breeze. I knew how to march, I knew how to do all the things that they teach you as far as entry-level Marines who really don't know how to walk or do any of those things. So I graduated boot camp, and I can honestly say that I've been one of those Marines that have been really, really lucky as far as duty stations, being at the right place at the right time. I mean, I've got to do some really neat stuff in the Marine Corps. Jumping out of airplanes, swimming in the middle of the ocean. And as you stayed longer in the Marine Corps, I kind of took it to the extreme in the sense that the brotherhood meant everything to me. I became really close to the Marines that I was with. It was a sad day every time we left a unit because you always feel really close to these guys. Unfortunately, I let it involve with my personal life, so my personal life at the time wasn't the greatest thing. I would be moving around, but the Marine Corps was always number one to me because I felt such a strong brotherhood. And that's one of the main reasons I stayed in. I wanted to retire out of the Marine Corps, and just dealing with the Marines in general, I always had a really good time. With everything else, there's good and there's bad, but for me, it's been a lot of good. The Marine Corps is treating me right, I could say pretty much the most of my time I've been in. And as you're in the Marine Corps, you're always preparing for war, you're expecting the worst, but you never think it'll happen to you. So luckily I was a little bit more mature, I was older, and all of a sudden one day we get told that we're going to go to Iraq and try to get rid of some bad guys. So knowing everything I did in the Marine Corps, I took it personal. I trained my Marines as much as I could to try to keep them alive. And as we went down there, unfortunately, we lost a lot of Marines. A lot of Marines got injured. A lot of Marines died. And that's unfortunately one of the negative aspects of the military. But I can also tell you at the same time when I was there, being in a worse position, but being with a group of guys that we were so tight, you could actually finish each other's sentences. That's how tight we were. So that was also a learning point for me, and ever since coming back from Iraq and having lost so many brothers, I always said to myself, what can I do, even if I get out of the Marine Corps, what could I do to maybe help the Marine Corps along or save people's lives? So I retired in June of '06 and started working with all kinds of different companies that deal with training, and so I never really left the Marine Corps, you could say. The umbilical cord is still there. Myself and Abel work at a place right now where we train Marines, all kinds of Marines, whether it's entry level or people that have a little bit more training. But to me, it's job satisfaction, because just getting through to one Marine where he comes up to you and says, you know what, I learned something, then hopefully I can save that individual's life if he gets that phone call, so to speak, that we got back in 2004. So it's a personal thing for me. I'll probably do this as long as I can, or my body lets me do it. But working with Marines ever since I got out has probably been the best therapy for me. Some guys kind of go off on a tangent and trying to figure out what they do after the Marine Corps. But again, I've been lucky. I've been working with the military ever since, and I think that's why I'm sitting here today, somewhat in a solid mindset.
It's a great story, and again, it's, I think, similar to what you said, Abel. It's, you don't know what you don't know, but once you find a path, you want to keep it close to you for the rest of your life, right? You're Marines. Once a Marine, always a Marine. You can't take that away from you if you try. It's ingrained. It's a part of your DNA now. And so the fact that you still embrace that and want to use that for the betterment of others, like you said, Dirk, it's heartwarming to be able to know that there's people out there looking over the sons and daughters of our next generation.